Join me as I search for the world's most colourful bird.
Wow.
There's a few contenders for which bird deserves this trophy, but the most common answer seems to go to the Rainbow Lorikeet. So in this video, I head out into the Australian bushland to find the species. And not only did I spot one, I found a place that had hundreds of them.
I'm absolutely surrounded by them.
Not only is the Rainbow Lorikeet considered one of the world's most colourful birds, but it also might be one of the loudest parrots on Earth. So join me as I tell you the untold story of the Rainbow Lorikeet.
Today, I'm going looking for the world's most colourful bird. And to be honest, I think I can already hear it. I'm only a few meters away from the car park, but I can already hear them in the distance.
Now, just because it's considered the world's most colourful bird doesn't make it rare.
I could see quite a few up ahead. Now, truthfully, it hasn't taken me long to find one. These are actually one of the most common birds in South Australia, which, if you ask me, is pretty cool.
In some Australian cities, you can hear them every single morning before sunrise, and millions of people live alongside them without really noticing them.
I think this tree has about 20 of them, if not more.
In today's video, I have two goals. Firstly, I want to teach you about the Rainbow Lorikeet and what makes it so unique, as it's not just its incredible plumage. But I also want to track down another bird, the one that I believe is truly the world's most colourful bird.
Now, even though I am absolutely surrounded by these Rainbow Lorikeets, the truth is, I don't actually think it is the world's most colourful bird. The Rainbow Lorikeet is considered to be the world's most colourful bird, but I actually think that title belongs to the eastern rosella. So as I show you these Rainbow Lorikeets today, I'm on a side mission to find what I believe to truly be the world's most colourful bird.
As I walk along the path in the woodland, you can't ignore the loud calls of the Rainbow Lorikeet.
Now, these birds are famous for being incredibly noisy, and hopefully the camera's picking up just how noisy they are.
Rainbow Lorikeets are incredibly loud birds, producing high-pitched screeches and chaotic calls that echo across entire neighbourhoods and bushlands. These large flocks often communicate constantly while flying, feeding, or fighting over flowering trees, creating a wall of sound that's almost impossible to ignore. Their calls are so distinctive that many people hear Rainbow Lorikeets every day without even seeing them. Scientists believe these loud vocalizations help flock members to stay connected whilst moving quickly through dense trees and urban environments. And despite looking like one of the most beautiful birds on Earth, their calls sound surprisingly aggressive. In many Australian cities, the sound of Rainbow Lorikeets at sunrise and sunset has become part of the everyday atmosphere.
I think I've walked like 500 meters in total. I've just been going back and forth in the same spot. There's just so much bird life here. Specifically, the Rainbow Lorikeet.
The Rainbow Lorikeet is a very highly social, loud, fast-moving bird that often travels in these noisy flocks. But the eastern rosella, the other bird that I was looking for today, are usually calmer, quieter, and more relaxed, which will make finding one today extra difficult.
This environment here is absolutely perfect for them. So they thrive in woodlands like this, but you can also find them in parks or gardens or, to be honest, just walking down the street in the suburbs.
These birds are highly adaptable, but there is one reason that goes unnoticed that makes this environment here perfect for them.
It's really important for birds to have old trees such as this one. A lot of people, will mention, plant trees for the animals and for the birds and all of that. But it specifically, ideally, should be old trees like this for this species, but also a lot of other species. Because old trees like this and all the ones that I'm surrounded by right now, they're the ones that have these big tree hollows. And that's where the birds like to nest. So these new trees that are being planted, that's great, obviously. But those newly planted trees aren't going to have these large hollows for them to set up their nests, which obviously then has a massive impact on their population.
Unlike many birds that build visible nests out of sticks and leaves, the Rainbow Lorikeet usually nests inside of these natural tree hollows. These hollows are often high up in old eucalyptus trees. This way the birds are protected from predators and harsh weather.
Hopefully the camera's picking this up, but I'm absolutely surrounded by them. There's At least 10 in that tree, 20 in that tree, definitely a few in that tree. Absolutely incredible. Wow.
One of the reasons that the rainbow lorikeet feels so chaotic is because they rarely live alone. Rainbow lorikeets are highly social birds and spend much of their lives in pairs, family groups, or large noisy flocks that contain dozens and sometimes even hundreds. Living in groups gives them several advantages. Large flocks make it easier to locate food, especially because flowering eucalyptus trees can bloom unpredictably across huge areas. If one lorikeet finds a tree full of nectar, then the others quickly follow. Flocking also provides safety in numbers, helping them detect predators more easily and overwhelm threats through sheer noise and movements. Luckily for me, they didn't mind me filming them. As I filmed the rainbow lorikeet, I kept my eye out for the eastern rosella, but I hadn't had any luck yet. One of the biggest differences between these birds, other than their plumage, is their diet. The rainbow lorikeet specializes in nectar and pollen, using their unique brush-tipped tongue to feed from flowers, whilst the eastern rosellas mainly eat seeds, grasses, fruits, and insects. And because of this, they often occupy slightly different ecological niches, even when living in the same area. As I searched for the eastern rosella, I stumbled upon a creek, but there was no running water. But the sounds of the rainbow lorikeets above couldn't be ignored.
Wow, they are noisy. I hope the camera's picking that up. Here we've got a creek. There's no water in it though.
What the rainbow lorikeets are doing here is called preening. This is one of the most important daily behaviors for the bird. This is their process of cleaning and maintaining their feathers. You'll often see rainbow lorikeets carefully running their beak through their plumage, twisting into strange positions, or scratching around their head and necks with their feet. For rainbow lorikeets specifically, preening is essential because of how active and aerobatic they are. They spend much of their day flying rapidly, squeezing through branches, hanging upside down, and moving through dense trees, which can easily damage or dirty their feathers. Now, even though rainbow lorikeets are often seen in loud flocks containing dozens of birds, their social structure is actually built around long-term pairs. Within all the chaos and noise, most rainbow lorikeets spend much of their lives closely bonded to a single partner. These pairs usually remain together year-round, not just during breeding season. You'll often notice two lorikeets flying side by side, feeding together, resting close to one another, or cooling back and forth whilst surrounded by larger groups. Even inside these massive flocks, the bonded pairs tend to stay aware of each other's location and movements. It was a cold day. Thick clouds covered most of the sky, only occasionally breaking apart long enough for the flashes of blue and sunlight to spill through the trees. Above me, hundreds of rainbow lorikeets screamed across the canopy, with their calls echoing through the woods. And somewhere amongst all the chaos, I kept searching for the bird that I believed should have the title for the most colourful bird in the world. But I wasn't just looking out for the eastern rosella. When you have this many rainbow lorikeets in one place, and you're filming directly below them, there's another thing you have to be wary of. The rainbow lorikeet is well known for one very messy side effect of its diet, its droppings. Because rainbow lorikeets feed mostly on nectar, pollen, soft fruits, and sugary liquids, their digestive system processes food very quickly, producing more and runnier droppings compared to most parrots.
There are so many. Hello guys. You can, oh wow. You can tell why they have the reputation of being very noisy. Very noisy. They're literally everywhere in this woodlands. I must have seen 200 today. And I've only been here like an hour or so. I think there's a idea that most people have, which is for them to see a bird that's very interesting or very unique, then it has to be rare. You know, this bird here is incredibly common. It's one of the most common birds in the state. But just because it's common doesn't mean there's not something incredible about it. And I think that's the case wherever you live. You know, I'm sure there's a bird in your area that you've seen a million times and never thought anything of, but just like Australians ignore these rainbow lorikeets, I'm sure there's a common species in your area that you've seen time and time again, but never thought about what makes this bird unique, what makes it special. Because there is something unique about each bird species. You might just need to take the time to figure out what makes it different.
I was thrilled with all the rainbow lorikeet footage I had captured this day. However, I still hadn't seen an eastern rosella. The rainbow lorikeet currently has the title for the world's most colourful bird, and alongside their very noisy nature, it's a bird that's impossible to miss. The eastern rosella is quieter, and typically aren't found in large flocks, so they're much more difficult to spot. It's not a bird that announces itself, but if you keep searching, you might get lucky.
That's an eastern rosella. Wow.
This here is the eastern rosella. With bright red heads, yellow feathers that fade into deep greens across its chest and wings, while dark black patterns stretch across its back, almost like scales, and hidden amongst all of that, gorgeous blue hues run along the wings and tail. Whether the title of world's most colourful bird goes to the rainbow lorikeet or the eastern rosella,
I can't believe my luck.
the more I realise the colours aren't really the interesting part. They're both highly intelligent, they're both crucial to the Australian environment, and they're both so common that they're almost completely ignored. But today, they both got to show their colours. Thanks for watching.